morning. You're waking up at 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Jenny Dean in for Caitlin Lockerbie.
And good morning. I'm Jamison Euler. Right now, Mexico getting prepared for Hurricane Beryl this morning after the Cat 4 hurricane hit the Caribbean.
Plus, an apartment fire in Ybor City causing several families to look for a new place to stay this morning. Why firefighters say lightning may be to blame.
And less than a month after it was filed, a Manatee County judge ruling on a lawsuit impacting your ballot and the school board.
And today is the 4th of July, Independence Day. All morning, we're going to be sharing where you can celebrate what's open and what's closed.
Well, let's first go ahead and get a check of your forecast this morning, or first check of your forecast this morning, I should say, with meteorologist Colleen Campbell. Colleen?
Hey, guys. Yeah, so we have a nice quiet morning. We would like to keep it that way because we have some fireworks planned for later today or whatever you may be doing, barbecuing with family. So on our radar right now, we do have a lone storm that's way off the coast. Right now, most of our region sitting pretty quiet, but if you're a boater, well, if you're getting out for a sunrise cruise, just be aware that we do have some coastal showers that are out there, but that's out by, I would guess, at least 50 miles to the west. So putting things into motion here, we did have some rain in the overnight, late night hours, and that did dry up. Next few hours here, we're climbing into those upper 80s and lower 90s. You can see those storm chances do start to return as we move into this afternoon. That's just with those sea breeze collisions. It's not going to be a washout, but we will have isolated storm chances for the second half of the day.
All right, Colleen, thank you. Well, 9 people are dead this morning after Hurricane Beryl hit Jamaica. The government is expecting that number to rise as communication improves after the storm. And we want you to take a look at your screen this morning. You can see all the flooding from that storm causing a bridge to be submerged. Also, the floodwaters creating quite a log jam right there in that area. All across the island, power lines are leaning over, signs are bent and destroyed, and trees line the roadways.
And this morning, tourists in Mexico trying to leave Cancun ahead of the storm. Beryl expected to hit later tonight and into Friday morning. The airport is warning people not to show up unless you have a flight. Some airlines are canceling flights already as early as this afternoon. Airport officials say the airport will remain open as long as the weather cooperates. Fishermen also preparing for the storm by pulling their boats out of the water and onto shore. At this hour, emergency response protocols are activated for several Mexican states, involving the Army, Air Force, and National Guard. Nearly 5,000 troops and more than 100 shelters are open. And at this hour, the Mexican government working on saving more than 140,000 sea turtle eggs from Beryl. Crews removed the eggs from sand nests along the Playa Delfines beach and put them in ice buckets.
A little closer to home now, developing overnight in Sarasota. Police are investigating a deadly shooting that happened just after 1 a.m. It was at the intersection of Dixie Avenue and 24th Street. That's just west of the Emma E. Booker Elementary School. Few details are available at this hour, but we have learned that one person has died. Now, police are telling us there is no threat and no danger to the public. We have reached out to the police department to get some more details, and we'll update you as we learn more. And several families are looking for a new place to stay this morning after an apartment fire near Ybor City. Right now, fire investigators are looking into the possibility that lightning could be to blame. Firefighters did confirm to 10 Tampa Bay the fire started in the attic. This happened at the Ybor City Lofts on North 9th Street. The apartment complex was built in 1927. Everyone inside the building was able to make it out okay. And we did speak with one man who was supposed to be in Mexico for a vacation that was canceled because of Hurricane Beryl.
I immediately checked my doggy cam, and you could see it fill up with smoke. It started off mild, and then it goes pitch black on the camera.
Now the American Red Cross is on the scene helping the people who need a place to stay.
Staying put this morning, the Tampa mother accused of beating her 4-year-old son to death will remain behind bars until her trial. The Hillsborough County judge denied bond for 37-year-old Aria Hudson. Tampa police say Hudson told them she repeatedly slammed the boy's head into a bathroom wall because he made a mess in the bathroom. Officers say she tried to hide his bruises with makeup. She now faces charges of first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse.
It is now 4:34. Later this morning, the family of a 7-year-old who was killed 1 year ago today will hold a memorial for him. Crime Stoppers and Tampa police just increased the reward to find Yitzian Torres Garcia's killer. Yitzian was watching fireworks on the Courtney Campbell Causeway with his grandfather when a nearby group got into an argument over jet skis and started shooting at each other. Yitzian was hit in the head with a stray bullet. Investigators are now offering $25,000 for information that leads to an arrest in this case. Yitzian's family tells us They are certain someone has details that could bring them some closure.
You killed an innocent baby. My grandson had nothing to do with this. There was too many people there taking videos, calls, everything, texts, and somebody knows something.
Yitzien was just 1 month shy of his 8th birthday when he was killed. His family does plan to light fireworks at 11 o'clock this morning as a memorial for him. It's all near the Courtney Campbell Causeway. They're also going to be passing out pictures of Yitzien calling for justice. If you do have any information on this case, you can report it anonymously by phone or email to Crime Stoppers.
Dismiss, that's a word from a Manatee County judge tossing out the lawsuit between a former Manatee County School Board member and the Supervisor of Elections. Last month, former Manatee School Board Chair James Golden sued the Supervisor of Elections, James Satcher, because Satcher denied a special election for a vacant Manatee School Board seat. Richard Tatum resigned from the board in May to run for a state house seat. Golden tried to run for Tatum's open seat but was rejected. The Democrat says Satcher rejected the election so Governor Ron DeSantis could appoint a fellow Republican to the board. In the ruling, the court says Tatum's resignation is effective in November, meaning he is still on the board. His term ends in 2026, which is within the time frame for the governor to appoint someone to the board. At this hour, nearly 2,600 primary election ballots are on their way to military and overseas voters. The Hillsborough County Supervisor of Elections office says it's preparing to send more than 152,000 domestic voters or to domestic voters on July 18th. And something new this year, vote-by-mail ballots are only available to registered voters who request one. They are no longer automatically sent to you. You have until August 8th to request a vote-by-mail ballot. Florida's primary election is August 20th. And now you can see who is on your ballot in Pasco County. The county just released sample ballots. You can see who to vote for if you visit the county's website.
Happening right now, voters in the United Kingdom are voting for a new parliament and prime minister. This morning, polls show the center-left Labour Party is likely to win power for the first time in 15 years. And that would make Keir Starmer the country's next leader. The UK has seen 3 prime ministers, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and Rishi Sunak, since the last election. And good news in the classroom this morning. The state says newly released test results show student improvements across Florida. Students take the test 3 times a year in reading, math, and writing. Hillsborough County scored below the state average, while Pinellas County scored above the state average. We do have a breakdown of the test results over at 10tampabay.com. Well, outrage in Redington Beach this morning. Right now, residents are talking about starting a ballot referendum.
Yeah, it comes after city commissioners approved a near total ban on pop-up tents and canopies last night. Neighbors, including those who own property on the beach, packed the town hall. Tell commissioners people need more than an umbrella to have some shade. For 6 years, the town's ordinance banned tents on dry sand, which belongs to private homeowners. The mayor says the sheriff's office wanted them to clarify the ordinance. By a 2-to-1 vote last night, they changed it to ban tents altogether, except if one of the 6 beachfront condominiums wants them.
I think if I'm an owner, I should put up a damn canopy, and you can't tell me to take it down.
We own a house on the beach. I'm 100% against banning these tents.
Yeah, some people in that meeting support the ordinance. They tell 10 Tampa Bay they are part of a pending lawsuit filed against the town for allowing certain activities on their private property. That lawsuit could be decided later this year. State law says ordinances take effect 10 days after passage.
Last night, the Rays played to keep their winning record intact. A recap of their contest in Kansas City. Plus, the team traded a starting pitcher. We're going to tell you why Tampa Bay made that move.
Weather and traffic from around Hillsborough County. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay. Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay with Jamison Euler, Caitlin Lockerbie, meteorologist Amanda Pappas, and traffic with Sarah Rosario. 10 Tampa Bay is live right now.
Well, time now 4:42. If you're planning to head to the beach to celebrate our nation's freedom, you might want to avoid Bahia Beach in Ruskin. The health department just announced the beach still has high levels of dangerous bacteria. That beach is still open. However, it is advised you don't go into the water. All other Hillsborough County beaches are open. Also, the state just announced there is no red tide across the state.
That's certainly good news. By the way, today is a federal holiday. That means a lot of places will be closed or are going to have some different hours. So this morning, all government offices and including post offices, courts, and libraries, are closed. Banks and stock firms are closed. Both UPS and FedEx not picking up packages. Also, garbage collection suspended. And most stores, they're actually open. You might want to check their hours just to be sure, but Costco is closed. Well, the city of Tampa is hosting Boom by the Bay again this year. It is free and at Julian B. Lane Riverfront Park. The fun starts at 2 o'clock with the pickleball tournament. There's also an apple pie throwdown, and then they have live music starting at 4:30, and then the big fireworks show starts at dusk.
I hope they eat the apple pie before they throw it down.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good stuff.
Tampa isn't the only city hosting a massive celebration. The city of Largo also having an event at Largo Central Park. That starts at 6. All the way up in Citrus County, Crystal River has a celebration at Kings Bay Park. That starts at 5. And there's a drone show at the Hillsborough County Fairgrounds at 9 tonight. I love the drone shows.
Yeah, those are really cool if you haven't seen one before.
Perfect. All right, Colleen, everybody's counting on the weather today for all of their events, including the fireworks. What can we expect?
I know, the pressure's on, and I'm intrigued by that drone show as well. Yeah, so tonight's my biggest advice would be bring the bug spray and have a backup plan just in case an isolated storm does fire up. You don't want to be caught in rain, 1, but 2, especially if there's lightning involved. Now, I think that would be a very solo case scenario. I don't think everybody's going to see that at all, but there is the opportunity for an isolated storm tonight. So just be aware of that. We're going to go over that right now. Temperatures as you walk out the door, generally in the mid 70s. We do have some higher marks like Tampa, 79, 83 in St. Pete. That's usually running a little bit higher anyway. Port Manatee's at 78, Sarasota and Venice also 78, 79. But we have some cooler marks like Wesley Chapel, if you want to call it cooler, and Dade City at 74 and 76. Visibility is good, not too much of an issue with fog out there, despite having that rain overnight and the very humid conditions that persist. As far as satellite and radar, putting that on the loop, we have seen a few showers out in the ocean, or in the bay, excuse me, but not really impacting us this morning. As we move into the afternoon, our temperatures are heating up to the lower 90s. Pretty typical how we have been feeling, plus the humidity makes it feel hotter. Remember that. Rain chances are fairly low up until the afternoon, the late afternoon, evening. And that's, of course, the time when it's most important for today. Here we are around 7 o'clock, and again, pretty dry, maybe a stray sprinkle. Moving into about 2, 3 o'clock, then we start rolling with the lighter showers. And then as we move towards our evening, about 5, 6, 7, that's when we do have the opportunity for an isolated storm to fire up. But again, not everybody's going to see this, and it really shouldn't delay plans too much. Here we are just before the 9 o'clock hour, and if anything, our inland locations where those sea breeze collisions are happening, we could get that isolated storm, but I really think most of us will be okay for today. Here's the latest on Beryl. Remember, the 5 a.m. advisory is just 15 minutes away, so we're going to have the latest updates here. Notice not a well-defined eye at this point in time, but it still remains a high-end Category 3 storm with winds at 125 miles per hour. The pressure is also a little bit higher. That's pretty obvious. Moved past Jamaica at this point. Now it's just south of the Cayman Islands. If we put a track on this thing, you can see that it's going to continue its journey out to the west towards the Yucatan Peninsula. That's up next. And by that point, it's likely going to weaken past its major hurricane status, which it's been holding for a few days now. You can see that area highlighted in the red. The east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula is under that hurricane warning because they are still expecting a hurricane, whether it be a Cat 1 to a Cat 3. It likely will be weakened by then, but a hurricane is a hurricane. So they have that warning in effect. After that, it will move into the Gulf Basin and then eventually into southern Texas as a tropical storm. Here's your 7-day forecast. You can see temperatures remain pretty steady as well as those rain chances. Again, mainly during the afternoon hours.
Now, this is 10 Tampa Bay Sports.
Well, the Tampa Bay Rays had a busy day on Wednesday, a long rain delay, forcing them to finish their series opening game in the early hours of the morning.
Yeah, and as 10 Tampa Bay's David Shealy tells us, that was only the beginning.
Well, just a few hours after beating Kansas City after midnight, the Rays traded starting pitcher Aaron Civale to the Milwaukee Brewers in exchange for a minor league prospect. This move ends Civale's one-year tenure that did not go the way Tampa Bay would have hoped. He had a 2-6 record this season. Later in the day, the Rays began their second game against the Royals on the right foot, taking the lead in the first. Feel like that's something we've said a lot this season. Isaac Paredes made it 1-0 with a solo shot, his second tater in 3 games, 14th of the season. Ryan Pepio was protecting that small lead until the third. That's when Kansas City was able to get a couple guys around the bases. Vinny Pasquantino gave the Royals the lead with his RBI single. Salvador Perez added to it after the 7th inning stretch, finding a gap in right field to score 2 more runs. But the Rays had a chance to tie this one up in the 9th, down by 2. Taylor Walls sends this one to the wall, but it's caught by Kyle Isbell. Don't know how he hung on to it, but he did, and the Royals win 4-2. Series finale set for tonight at 8:10. Interesting nugget about tonight's contest. It'll be the 26th time the Rays are playing on July 4th. They aren't that good on Independence Day. They're 9-16 all time. That includes losing 4 of the last 5 games on the holiday.
Well, as you wake up this morning, legal analysts still trying to break down the precedent Monday's Supreme Court ruling creates.
Yeah, President Biden says it sets a dangerous precedent, while former President Trump says the ruling is a big win for the Constitution. Straight ahead, we verify what we know about that ruling on presidential immunity.
Weather and traffic from around Pinellas County. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
The Supreme Court says former President Trump has some immunity in that federal case against him for trying to overturn the 2020 election. President Biden said that decision sets a dangerous new precedent.
So just what is that precedent? Casey Decker with our Verified National team breaks down what we know.
In the most anticipated ruling of the year, the Supreme Court decided Donald Trump has some immunity from criminal prosecution for official actions he took as president. The 6-3 ruling complicates the ongoing case against Trump for his actions to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Critics of the ruling, including President Biden, argued it turns presidents into kings who are above the law. We got numerous questions from viewers about the ruling. Viola wanted to know, does the decision also give immunity to President Biden? Donna asked, does it give the president unlimited powers? For instance, could he postpone the election or bring back Roe v. Wade? And many people wondered about a hypothetical that was brought up repeatedly during oral arguments in the case. Is the president now allowed to order the military to assassinate his political opponents? So let's verify with these sources. First, does the decision give immunity to President Biden? Yes, it applies to all presidents. The ruling says, quote, presidential power entitles a former president to immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his constitutional authority. Second, could the president now postpone the election or bring back Roe v. Wade? No. Giving the president immunity from criminal prosecution isn't the same thing as giving him unlimited new constitutional powers. Currently, most of the power for deciding abortion laws and running elections is held by states. If the president tried to order states to change the election date or allow abortion, there's nothing in this ruling that says they'd have to listen to him. And a president can't just declare new federal laws. Congress still controls that process. And our final question, can the president now order the military to assassinate his political opponents? After all, he is commander-in-chief. Military action is within his official duties. But legally speaking, this question remains unclear. Justice Sonia Sotomayor argued in her dissent the ruling means exactly that. Quote, if the president orders the Navy's SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival, immune. Organizes a military coup to hold on to power, immune. But in his ruling, Chief Justice John Roberts said that dissent, quote, strikes a tone of chilling doom that is wholly disproportionate to what the court actually does today. Ultimately, the courts will have to decide on a case-by-case basis what specific presidential actions are protected by immunity. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
If you see something you'd like us to verify, you can email your questions to verify@10tampabay.com, or you can text us 727-577-8522. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us.
Yeah, here's what's coming up at 5 a.m. In just a minute, the National Hurricane Center puts out its latest information on Hurricane Beryl. We'll get you the latest update. Meteorologist Colleen Campbell will give us the newest track.
And each year, 8 people die from fireworks and countless others sent to the hospital. 10 Tampa Bay's Nick Valtoro is sharing some tips to make sure you stay safe.
Plus, he might be the brother of the year. In this morning's Beautiful People, meet a 5-year-old who saved his brother's life while visiting a local pond.
We have a lot more ahead for you in our next hour.
10 Tampa Bay is back in just 3 minutes.